Hey, it's Christmas Day. I'm here at the shop with my new best friend Gracie, and I realized I really neglected posting videos. I've really gone inward lately, and I just wanted to give a quick update in terms of sharing that things have been moving forward. Got the shop arranged, got a new van that gets used for pickups and different things. So got some improvements to be making to that, to put a rack on the top to carry material, to focus on one piece flow. So if I'm out doing an errand, you can get material, get back to the shop, get things in process. So that's been, I actually made a first version of the rack on the old van and it had a lot of wind noise. So now we're working on some improvements that will make that a lot quieter and allowed to do different things like talking on the phone at the same time as driving, because the rack will be quieter and make it easier to do that. So that's an exciting thing. Also getting some things organized and really focusing in on lean again and recognizing it starts with the washroom, starts with the lunchroom. So the washroom underwent some modifications to make a better coat hanging area and got some safety shields. We might be able to add some additional shelving up top there for things that rarely ever get used. And down the bottom, we got our mop bucket. This is the boiler for heating the shop over here, and more boiler controls. We've got the safety harness hanging up in here. So this has been a little bit of a change room. And one of the things, when we moved the door from there to over on this side of the washroom, which is also our safety contact board, emergency contacts, things for work safe NB, workers health and safety stuff. So this door really needs to be located in this wall right here. The light switch, to put an automatic light switch, and to put an indicator light that the light switch is on in the washroom that shows it might be occupied. Just doing some stuff like that, realizing this shelf here was mainly pipe fitting, so it's mainly storage stuff that shouldn't be in the washroom. There was a bunch of other storage stuff in here, like there was a whole pile of fire extinguishers that were on the floor here that were salvaged, and now they got put in a different spot. So also realizing if we change this from an 18-inch deep shelf to a 12-inch shelf, which we ended up with a bunch of 12-inch shelves, that will allow for a full width door here, because the long-term vision is keeping it a 36-inch door, which is closer to being wheelchair accessible, which is what we want to strive to. Inclusivity is a big deal. And with this step on the floor, in the floor here, because whoever built this place, whether the washroom was an afterthought and they built it up to put a trap in the floor for the toilet, I don't know what it was all about. Anyhow, that's how it is. But added the sink years ago, so that's been a huge improvement for hand washing, keeping clean. It's easy. Got a nice scrubby here. That has been a big deal in terms of just easily just going over the sink, which I would not do with a porcelain sink. So I think that's a huge advantage. Stainless steel, it looks a lot cleaner. And we've got our towels. You notice the way the towels are stacked, so it's easy to see. 1, 2. Same here. And these dirtier towels, because the way they're folded, quick, easy visual control, so that's a big thing. So washroom improvements are going to be number one. And then one of the number one improvements I really love is we've got our Fix What Bugs You list and a little minor victory list in here. And no victory is really a minor victory. They're all major victories. Sometimes the minor victories we don't take the time to acknowledge. So here they are, because they're the most significant ones, because on those days where it seems like nothing's working out, nothing's going our way, being able to put a little something on there is a huge deal. So we got ideas how to grow that over time, but really being challenged by the very minimal flat wall space. Actually, one of the improvements the other day is hanging up this hand file rack, which occasionally hand files are still helpful despite all the other tools we have. Sometimes, filing the end of a keyway or something where there's no great way to do it with a power tool. And these files had been hung over on this wall which they were getting bumped every time we went to get our blocks of wood or get a little scrap of wood out of this filing cabinet. This is a big deal where it's got all these scraps of wood. They get used for setting things up or putting on the bench to prevent things from getting marked up if we're doing some deburring. And right now, you see there's some little scraps of wood. They get used sort of like process trays. So if these are getting machined one operation, it's easy to stack them on one piece of plywood, stack them on another piece as the parts are being done, and then flip those parts again. So, we're always going from left to right or whatever makes sense to make an easy visual control. And without having a lot of plastic parts bins or something suitable, boom, these little sheets of plywood, super easy, quick, and they don't mark the parts. They keep the machines in good condition instead of dropping stuff on the table all the time. And this here is a little bit sneak preview. This belt sander, that's going to be an upcoming project to finish off. Another thing I'm really excited about is this. It's a woodworking vise, but we got a couple other little purposes for that. So super excited to make more videos about improvements around here and what's been going on. I'll give a little hint on the woodworking vise. It was always one of these things where we're clamping stuff to the sides of the bench with a Bessie clamp and realizing, oh, this is super easy because it's one hand in, out, and then quickly tighten it up. Boom. And yeah, it just seemed to make sense in terms of, well, it's a woodworking vise. It's got such a practical application with being a quick vise that only needs one hand and it can just sit there out of the way. So that's been exciting. And I'm trying to think what else is a big deal here. I know getting this oil pump set up for pumping out of 5-gallon pails, which is a big deal instead of having to lift a 5-gallon pail and fill up machines, to be able to have that. And it's also got I don't know if you can see here, it's got a meter on here so you can show the volume. So whether that's for invoicing, filling up someone else's machine, or keeping track of how much oil something takes to put in the correct amount, or keeping track of how much is left in a new 5-gallon pail by how much has gone through the meter. It's got a lot of purposes, so that's been a really cool thing. See, there's some random boxes sitting around the shop that I just started pulling off the shelf in the washroom. And we've got one cart of parts here, ongoing projects. Got a couple co-op students in the shop now who I've really enjoyed working with. And we got all these things here that are little jobs that have been in process for a while that we want to keep going on. So also thinking of some ways, if we had carts or pallets or something, when we do our internal projects, when we get busy with other things, where we could file them away into some ready rack or someplace where it's easy to work on things for a couple hours, but it's also easy to put it completely out of the way, out of the work area, so it's not a distraction. And also if people want to work on their projects from home, so there's an easy way to catalog, to store, to organize, to keep things secure, and to really know, what material, what belongs to who and what it's for. So that's a big thing. I think that more or less wraps it up. Oh, I know another thing that's been set up here is we've got that 600 volts right there, and that's right now wired up to that. So adding that self-retracting cable reel has been helpful, and we added an air hose reel. Let's see, where is it? Oh, right there at the bench. So it's super easy. Oh, you know what? It's just a little bit out of my reach. Yeah, if I wasn't using the camera, I guess I might be able to reach it, but and that's been such a big help because there used to be an airline hanging here and it was always in the way. and putting on that reel has made it nice because it's not just air for working at the bench. It's also if there's a little project getting worked on here or, on the floor for whatever reason, or airing up tires for the bicycle. That's super helpful. So yeah, getting little things organized has been a big deal around here, and focusing on what we can do on days where it feels like nothing is really moving. Yeah, and the other thing that's been a big deal is in the past couple weeks, moving out a lot of things that either weren't current projects or things for later, things that would be in the junk category in lean manufacturing. And it's a funny story where we had to replace the van. So the old van ended up being a place where a lot of the junk was put, and having that extra little bit of space has freed up so much mental space in terms of knowing that that's something that can be looked after later, that we're always going to have junk. It's just a matter of the best thing to do is to get it out of our workspace. We might realize we never want to see it ever again. Or we might realize, having it out there, we got to have it somewhere. There's no sense of being outside because it's just going to get wrecked. We've got to have it somewhere safe and secure. So we found some temporary solutions to keep things going, to keep flow. And I don't know what else I can say. Just really enjoy your holidays if you're taking time off, and enjoy the solitude if you're like me and you're just hanging out at the shop because it feels like the place you want to be the most, and enjoy the time with others. On that note, until next time, keep inspired, keep having fun, and looking forward to seeing you soon.